Okay, we will start. I think let me record it on this computer. Okay, we'll start. Oh. Om Badram Karne Bishunuyama Devaha Badram Pashye Makshabiryajatraha Sthirairangai Tuštuvagum Sastanubihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vriddashravaha Swasti na Pusha Vishvavedaha Swasti nastarkshyo Arishtanemihi Swasti no Brahaspatir Dadhatu Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. Okay, so we are in Mundakopanishad, third chapter, Tritiya Mundaka, and Pratama Kanda, the first section in that. Last class, when we met, we saw the famous mantra, Satyameva Jayate Nandritam, Satyena Panta Vitato Devayanaha, Yena Kramantirishayo Hyaptakamaha, Yatra Tat Satyasya Paramam Nidhanam. So this is the mantra that we saw, and as I was saying, that Satyameva Jayate is part of our emblem, our national emblem. I've just put it there just to show it. Now, this whole notion of Satyam is the cardinal principle of Sanatana Dharma. And last class, we saw it in some detail as to what this Satyam really means. And what this mantra says is Satyena Panta Vitataha Devayanaha. See, there is the Pitriyana and the Devayana. The Pitriyana is those who go to the Pitraloka, and then after the good karma is over, they will have to come back, etc. This is what it is. Whereas Devayana is a Krama Mukti. So what this mantra is saying is those who go on a Krama Mukti, they lay the road for their journey using only Satyam. Satyena Panta Vitataha. Yena, using that, Akramanti Rishayaha, Aptakamaha, they are free from all desires. And where do they go? Yatra Tat Satyasya Paramam Nidhanam. They reach that ultimate state of liberation. And in order to reach that ultimate state of liberation, they use only Satyam. So we saw all those details. I just wanted to quote, because this Satyam is so commonly and so strongly emphasized in all our Puranas, in our Upanishads, in our Itihasas. So I want to take two occasions from Ayodhya Kanda and show how this reference of Satyam is coming. We have already seen it in Ramayana, but I thought I will bring it back here in the context. So when Kaikeyi was asking Dasharatha to give her the boon, which he promised long back, she invokes this whole idea of Satyam. As you see here, Satyam ekapadam brahma, Satye dharma pratishtitaha, Satyameva kshaya vedaha, Satyenaiva pyate param. She very strongly invokes the notion of Satyam. And what is she saying? She is saying Satyam Ekapadam Brahma. The only way to reach Brahman. That's exactly what this Upanishad mantra is saying. Satyena Panta Vitato Devayanaha. That's what it Yatra Tat Satyasya Paramam Nidhanam. That's what she is also saying. Satyam Ekapadam Brahma. Satya Dharma Pratishtitaha. The whole Dharma is resident only in this cardinal principle of Satyam. Because everything is Satyam. Satyasya Satyam. That's what you see in Bhagavata Purana. Srimad Bhagavatam, it says Satyasya Satyam. It takes it to that level. Satyameva Akshaya. Satyameva Akshayaha Vedaha. These Vedas which will never perish, they are nothing but the embodiment and the description of Satya only. Satyameva Akshayaha Vedaha. Satyena eva apyate param. Whatever we want to achieve, whether it is materialistic, whether it is spiritualistic, whether it is in this world, whether it is in the other world, everything must ride on the cardinal principle of Satyam. So strongly she invokes Satyam. Only to say the next shloka you see, Satyam samanuvartasva yadi dharme drita matihi. He says, if your mind is firmly established in dharma, yadi dharme drita matihi, if your mind is firmly established in dharma, please Satyam samanuvartata vartasva. Follow Satyam. And what is that Satyam that you have to follow? Sapalasva varo me astu. Varado hyasi sattama. You promise me to give boon, no? Give it to me now. So she is using it for her benefit. But nevertheless, Kaikeyi is extolling the virtues of Satyam. In Ayodhya Kanda, there is a conversation between Rama and Lakshmana also as they pass through. And then Rama and Bharata. So when Bharata was, it's a famous conversation spreading into some 15 sargas. So when Bharata is very strongly requesting Rama to come back, then again Rama invokes this importance of Satyam. Look at these two shlokas. Satyameveshwaro loke Satyam dharma sadashritaha Satyamulani sarvani Satyannasti parampadam Satyameva Ishwaraha loke. The Lord of this whole world is only Satyam. That is the supreme thing. Satyam dharma. Sada ashritaha. Dharma always resides only in Satyam. That's what it says. Satyam dharma sada ashritaha. Satyamulani sarvani. Everything has its root, origin only in Satyam. Satyat nasti parampadam. There is nothing better than Satyam. So, he says all that only to tell that father has promised something to Kaikeyi, and that truth and that Satyam must be upheld. Therefore, my coming back is ruled out. So, in order to say that, he invokes again strongly this Satyam. Then he says, look at the next shloka. Soham pitur nidesham tu kimartam nanupalaye satya pratishravas satyam satyena samayi kritam. Pituhu nirdesham tu kimartam na anupalaye. Why would I not keep up the command of the father, because it was a promise given to Kaikeyi. Satya pratishravah. So I am always true to Satyam. Satyam Satya pratishravah. Satyam satyena samayi kritam. So I always bound by the principle of truth. Therefore, despite all the love and affection with which you are asking me to come back to Ayodhya, if I come back to Ayodhya, the father's promise becomes falsehood. So I would not like to do that, because I am governed by the principle of Satyam. So that is what Rama tells to Bharata. I just wanted to tell you that if you read Puranas, you read Upanishads, the Vedas, Sarvatra, everywhere, this cardinal principle of Satyam is resident in our Sanatan Dharma. And that is why, Satyena Panta Vitato Devayanaha. That is why Yena Rishayaha Akramanti Etra Tat Satyasya Paramam Nidhanam. So that is what this mantra is. I thought I just wanted to share these two strong views on Satyam, which you see just in Ayodhya Kanda. Let's go to the seventh mantra. Brihachata divyamachintya rupam sukshmachata sukshmataram vibhati durat sudure tadihantikecha pasyatsvihaiva nihitam guhayam. Brihat cha. Let me do a padacheda. Brihat cha brihacha. Tat divyam achintya rupam. Tad divyam achintya rupam. Sukshmat cha becomes sukshma cha. Sukshmat cha. Tat sukshmataram vibhati. Durat sudure tat iha antikecha. Tadihantikecha. Tat iha antikecha. Then you have a pasyatsvihaiva. It has three padas in that. Pashyatsu eva. Pashyatsu eva iha eva. Pashyatsu iha eva. Pasyatsvihaiva. That's what it comes. Pashyatsu iha eva. Nihitam guhayam. So the Upanishad is now telling, where do these realized soul actually see this, experience this Satyam, which is takes us to the ultimate, the Brahman. Where do they see the Brahman? So that, and how do you describe that? That it is a Swarupa Lakshana of Brahman. So what is it saying? Brihacha, Brihat. First it uses the word Brihat. The word Brahman comes from the word Brihat actually. Brihat means, big or, large or big. See, how do we use the word big? Let us look at it in a very, material sense. Let us try to understand. When do you say something big? We say something is big when its span is bigger. For example, if you have a large room, 200 feet by 300 feet, then we say it's a big hall. So, it pervades a fairly a larger space. So we call it as Brihat, right? So the word big is actually to, in a way, say, indicate something which can pervade as large as area possible. So by using the word Brihat as the Swarupa of Brahman, what it basically says is the whole Jagat is pervaded by Brahman only. So that is the largest that one can think of. That is the largest that one can think of. Therefore, it uses the word. So it is infinite. It is all pervading. All these words actually can be attributed to Brihat. And the word Brahman came from its Lakshana called Brihat. So Brihat cha. Tat Divyam. Divyam means Swayam Prakasham. That which can radiate by itself. That which is the cause of all the lights. That's why in the earlier section we saw Natatra Suryo Bhatina Chandra Tarakam Nema Vidyuto Bhantam Kutoyam Agnihi Tameva Bhantam Anubhati Sarvam Tasya Basa Sarvamitam Vibhati. We saw that mantra in the previous section. So Divyam essentially means that which is radiating, which is Swayam Prakasha. So that is what Divyam is all about. Then it says Achintya Rupam. Achintya Rupam means that the Rupa cannot be contemplated or, visualized. Chintayitum na shakyate. Tasmat Achintya Rupam. That which cannot be visualized. Why we cannot visualize it? Because it is not available for experience as an object. See, what we can visualize is what our indriyas can capture. So our indriyas can capture only Sabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. These are the 5 padarthas the indriyas can capture. Now, if you say Achintya Rupam, that means Brahman is not something which you can capture through Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa. We may still have a Nirguna, Saguna Upasana. That is only a proxy to Brahman. The Nirguna aspect does not have a Rupa. Rasa doesn't have a taste, it doesn't have a Gandha also. So what our Indriyas can capture, what our Indriyas can comprehend is not what Brahman is. Brahman is in a domain other than that. Since the Brahman is in a domain other than that, so it has to be Achintya Rupam. That's where the whole idea of Achintya Rupam comes. So that which cannot be comprehended, that which is not available for the Indriyas, so which means it is not an object. It doesn't belong to the objective world. It belongs to the subjective world, which means it is a subject matter for us. It is not an object. That's why it is Achintya Rupam. Then Sukshmat cha Sukshmataram Vibhati. Sukshmat cha tat Sukshmataram. It is subtler than the subtlest. So that is what it says. It is subtler than the subtlest. Now, what is the subtler than the subtlest? So let us start from the gross. See, if you look at the Panchabhutas, we have, you have Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Apa, and Prithvi. So we'll go from the reverse order. We'll start from Prithvi. Prithvi is the grossest. Why? Because Prithvi is something which can be comprehended, which can be understood, which can be experienced through Sabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. All the 5 Indriyas can comprehend Prithvi. So Prithvi is the grossest, right? So, you can, Shabda, any solid matter makes a sound actually. Sparsha, you can touch. Rupa, it has a shape. Rasa, Gandha, smell, all those are there. Then, if you come one step before, Apa, which is water and the liquid system, let us say. From the solid system, we come to the liquid system. When it comes to the liquid system, our Upanishads and our thing says, it is only 4 Indriyas can comprehend it, not 5. Sabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa. Gandha is not there. Water does not have a smell. If water is smelling, that means there is some Prithvi which is mixed into it. Some impurity in the form of some particle matter is there. That's why water is smelling. So the pure water system, it will not smell. So one Indriya is gone. You cannot smell water, but you can have Shabda. You can pour the water, smell, sound will come. Sparsha, you can touch. Rupa, depending upon which bottle you keep, it takes a shape. Rasa, it has a taste. So now when you look at it that way, then water is subtler than Prithvi. Then you come to Agni. When you come to Agni Tattva, then 2 Indriyas are gone. Sparsha, Shabda, Sparsha, and Rupa, that's all. Rasa and Gandha are gone. Agni does not have smell. Agni does not have Rasa. Now we have only 3. So, our ability to come, so it is subtler. So Agni is subtler. So Prithvi is the grossest. Water is subtler than Prithvi. Agni is subtler than water because only 3 Indriyas. Then Vayu. Vayu is Shabda and Sparsha, that's all. When it blows, it can make a noise and you feel it. When it blows, you feel it on you. That's all. Rupa is not there. Vayu does not have a shape. It doesn't have a rasa. It doesn't have a gandha. So again, if the air is smelling, that means there is some particle matter there, which is creating the smell. So now Vayu is subtler than Agni. Akasha is the subtlest. Akasha, only way you understand Akasha is because of ether and sound. Otherwise, we don't know what is Akasha. If you demolish everything, you have no idea. Only when you create walls and so on, there's a sense of Akasha. So you need a gross matter even to make an appreciation of Akasha as a free space. So now by saying Sukshmacha Tat Sukshmataram, what the Upanishad is saying is Brahman is even subtler than this. At least with respect to Akasha, there is one Indriya, which is Shabda. By saying Sukshmacha Sukshmataram, basically what is happening is Upanishad is saying the Brahman is Atindriya. The Brahman cannot be comprehended. The Brahman cannot be captured, understood, sort of experienced, etc., etc., using Indriyas. None of our Indriyas are of any use when it comes to experiencing Brahman, because it is conscious. We experience because of Brahman. It is the consciousness, Satyam Jnanam, Sat, Chit, and Ananda. It is only a framework which is providing us to experience even the outside world. So that's why Sukshmacha Tat Sukshmataram. Then Vibhati means it is experienced everywhere. Only because of that we are able to, every one of us in the world is able to experience everything other than it, actually speaking. Other than it, only because of it we are experiencing everything. We experience the world, we experience our own existence, we experience many things. So that is the isness. It is there, that is there, I am there, light is there, etc. That isness is because of that. So because it radiates, it creates that kind of platform in which the world of existence becomes a reality for us. That's why it is Sarvavyapi, not material, but without that we will not be able to do anything. So that way we know Vibhati. So these are the Sarupa Lakshana in some ways. Brihatsha Tat Divyam Achintya Rupam Sukshmacha Tat Sukshmataram Vibhati. Then in the second line, the Upanishad makes certain interesting propositions. So what it says, Durat Sudure. So it is farther than the farthest. Then it says, Tat Iha Antike. It is here inside. So, there are two contradicting statements here. One statement says Brahman is farther than the farthest. Immediately followed by another sentence, it says it is Iha, here, Antike, inside. So which means it is closer than the closest. What can be closer than something which is inside you? Nothing can be closer than that. Even this shirt is outside, a little outside of me. There is a certain distance between the so-called eye and the shirt, or the specs that I am talking about. Whereas it says Tad Iha Antike. So there are two contradicting statements made here. So what is all these? Our Upanishad, our Bharatiya Jnana Paramparayam, you will find this kind of descriptions very often. And it is actually a profound description. This is not a conflicting or a confusing statement. For an uninformed person, for a person from a different culture, who is not used to this method of understanding things, he or she may think that what is this? All these are very confusing statements. What is going on here? Like that they will think. Basically, you will find plenty of such expressions in our scripture. So let us try to understand with a couple of examples. Suppose I was having a key with me, a key to open something, it may be, or let's say I was having this moment. Let's say key. I had a key. I was sitting in a room, and in the room I have probably misplaced the key somewhere, and it is evening time. There is no light in the room. So what I do, I go out and there is light, there is a lamp post and there is light there. I go and search the key there. Now somebody came and suppose somebody comes and says, what are you doing? Well, I am searching the key. Why are you searching the key? Did you drop it here? No, no, no. I didn't drop it here, but because there is light here, I am searching here. So imagine a situation like this. Now what will happen? You can search for infinite amount of time. You can search any number of times. You can keep on going round and round and round and round that place. We will not get the key. In other words, how much effort you put, how far you go, wherever you go and search, you will not get. So in that sense, your inability to locate where it is available will only take us farther from where it is. So in that sense of the term, it is farther than the farthest. We keep on searching for it. That is what we do. All of us need peace of mind. And how do we search peace of mind? We think peace of mind is in the mall. We think peace of mind is, in a restaurant in which you have your Sunday morning breakfast, or your peace of mind is going for a movie, or buying a shirt, or visiting a friend and having a chat. So we go farther and farther and farther in search of that quintessential nature. And anybody engaged in that kind of an activity, the first part will make sense. Durat sudure. Then it says, tad iha antike. But for someone who has understood the whole science of where to look for, what to look for, how to look for, what kind of methodology are to be used, where should you actually focus? If somebody has that kind of an approach, if somebody has that kind of a training, then for that person, Iha Antike, he will find it, in themselves. This is called Swakantha Bharana Nyaya. See, somebody, we all, sometimes these specs, we have a, there is a sort of a necklace kind of a thing. So, or, sometimes what we do, we put the specs like this. You pull it to the top and engage in some work. And after some time, we keep on searching for the specs, not knowing fully, not knowing that you have all that you do is you have to, bring it down like this. So it is with us. It is very much with us. It is the closest to us, but we keep on searching for it. So for that informed person, for that person who understood what is Brahman, what is Brahma Tattva, what is the methodology, where to look for Brahman, how to look for Brahman, and what kind of a training and practice, what kind of a know-how, what kind of a guidance you get from Guru, what kind of a Guru Kataksha and Ishvara Sankalpa, all that, for those who know all that, it will be Tat Iha Antike. So therefore, there are two so-called conflicting ideas here, but they are not conflicting. They are only representing two possibilities of our journey towards Brahman. One possibility which takes us farther and farther away from going to the Brahman. Instead of coming towards the Brahman, we may be going away. And we may need several janmas to understand that we are on the wrong path, and then start turning around, get into some satsanga, etc., to find that mechanics of finding the Brahman. The second is for those who really found it. What is it saying? It is saying, Pashyatsu, Iha Eva, for the seers, for the sage who are realizing it. Pashyatsu are those sages. For those who have realized, where they find it? Nihitam Guhayam. They see it in their cave of the heart, Chetak Kuhare. They see it in their own. In fact, in the second section of Mundakopanishad, we talked about all that. Nabi, Vivara, and all that, the hub and the spoke, and how the heart is the hub from which the Brahman radiates, all that we spoke. So, for the realized soul, they see it here in their own heart. For all others, if they are uninformed, it is Durat Sudure. If they are informed, they know that it is very closer. And that is what the second line is saying. The first line is giving a certain Swarupa Lakshana. It says it is beyond the availability or for consumption through our indriyas. It is atindriya padartha. This is not available for the indriyas. That means that our journey to experience and locate that Brahman, our indriyas will not help. They cannot be in the process. And that's where the whole idea of dhyana and all those are, turning the attention inward. Moment you turn the attention inward, what are we saying? We are saying indriyas are switched off. Indriyas are required only for the outside world. So moment we turn our attention inside, avritta chakshuhu amritatvam icchan. That's what in Kathopanishad it says. So therefore, kaschid dhiraha, that's what it says. So therefore, by turning the attention inside, we are already recognizing that the indriyas are of no use, and therefore we need some other mechanisms by which we have to experience the Brahman. So all those are coming through this mantra by way of putting all these examples. Let's go to the next mantra. Na chakshusha grihyate napi vacha nanyai devais tapasa karmana va jnana prasadena vishuddha sattvastastu tam pashyate nishkalam dhyayamanah. Na chakshusha grihyate na api vacha na anyaihi devaihi. That na has to be taken for the balance also. Na tapasa, na karmanava. That's what it says. Jnana prasadena vishuddha sattvaha tataha tu tam pashyate nishkalam dhyayamanah. That's the padacheda. It says na tapasa na karmana. There is another Vedic mantra. Na karmana na prajaya dhane na tyage naike amritatvam anashuhu. It says na karmana na prajaya tyagena ekena amritatvam. That's what that mantra says. Na karmana na prajaya tyage naike amritatvam anashuhu. That's what it says. So what is this saying? Na chakshusha grihyate. Just now we said sukshma, sukshmataram and all that. Brihacha, all that we said in the previous mantra. And I concluded the previous mantra by saying the message that you see in the previous mantra is that it is not available for the indriyas. That is how I concluded the last mantra. That is exactly what is being told in this first line. Na chakshusha grihyate. This is not something which can be grasped. This is something which cannot be obtained through the eyes. Okay? Na chapi vacha. So through the words, what can you get out of the words? What you can get out of the words is only the world of objects. And what you can get through the eyes is also the world of objects. The eye sees it, the word describes the vacha describes it in so many words. And since Brahman is beyond all that, therefore, na chakshusa grihyate, na api vacha. Not even using the power of your words and speech and all that, even through that, we are not going to grasp the Brahman, because it is already, we have said, it is subtle. Then it goes on to say na anyaihi devaihi. So the word devas here actually means the other indriyas, other senses. So you may be wondering why there is a word deva used here. See, each indriya there is a indriya devata. Each indriya is because of a devata. That is why, when a person dies, you have seen it actually. When a person dies, except for those who are in coma and all that, for many of these people who have a normal death, What really happens, even those who are in the hospital, that's what happened. What happens is the indriyas switch off. In the last 6 hours, if you see, what really happens is the indriyas switch off. They lose the hearing, they lose their speech. There is an order also. They lose the speech, they lose the hearing, then they lose the ability to see, they lose smelling. So all the Indriya Devatas exit. Then Agni Devata also exit, right? So therefore, all these Indriyas have presiding deities. So Anyehi Devaihi, meaning even the other Indriyas, which may have its own presiding Devas, through that also you cannot. Because as we told, it is an Atindriya Anubhava. It is something which is beyond the domain of Indriya. So it is an Atindriya Anubhava. So it is not possible. Then, so all verbal transaction is not possible because all these are only Saguna Upasana. These are all Saguna, whereas Brahman is Nirguna. Then it says, Na tapasa, na karmana. I mean, again, these are all, very contradicting. Somewhere it says tapas is important and says the karma is important. When you say karma, Shankara Bhashya, he says it talks about the Vedic sacrifices, the yajnas, all that. Whereas here it says, na tapasa, na karmana va. So you can't even grasp it through tapas and through various karmas. Now, what does this mean? Why is it saying? It does not mean tapas is not required. Because in Bhagavad Gita, if you go, it says, Yajnadana tapak karma pavanani manishinam. That's what he says. So he has clearly said what is the use of it. See, tapas, why do you need tapas? You need tapas only to focus your indriya, to converge your sensory organs to a common fixation of an object or an idea. Only to that extent tapas is useful. Tapas cannot get us, like we see in the movie, they keep on sitting in tapas, and after some time Narayana comes or Brahma comes. I mean, those are all fine, but the point is the tapas is only a vehicle. Tapas is only an enabling mechanism. It does not get, if you want to go to go and catch an 9 o'clock flight, and you just step out of IIM campus, there is an airport bus. That, if you take the airport bus, it doesn't mean you're going to board the flight. But definitely that is a vehicle for you to reach there. You are on your way. You will reach the airport. Once you reach the airport, there are a few things. If you do, you will finally catch the flight. In the same way, tapas is a vehicle for us to go near it. It doesn't get you that. It gives Indriya Nigraha. It gives Chitta Ekagrata, all those. So therefore, tapas is a necessary precondition, but padartha will not be available. Similarly, karma. By saying na tapasa, na karmana, the Upanishad is not saying give up all that. See, this is a very fancy interpretation these days. No, you don't need, you have to be only spiritual. You don't have to do all these karma, you don't have to do, this is what people say. That's not true. If you don't polish yourself, if you don't, purify yourself, these acts are meant for purifying oneself. And by the act of purifying, we are only making ourselves adhikaritva we will get. We don't get the pada, but we get the adhikaritva. We become more qualified. The propensity to get the Brahma padartha is higher. Therefore, without this, it is not possible. That's why Shankaracharya says, Karmaha chitta shuddhyarte na vastupa labhyate, vastu siddhi vicharena na kinchit karma koti bihi. Therefore, chitta shuddhyarte karma. Chittasya shuddhaye karma. That's what he says. Chittasya shuddhaye karma. We have to purify our mind. An impure mind, knowledge does not happen in an impure mind. Knowledge will not happen in a mind which has a very distracted senses. If the senses are distracted and it goes all over the place, knowledge will not happen. Therefore, na tapasa na karmana, does not in any ways mean don't do tapas, don't do all good karma, nothing of that kind. It says do that, get qualified, but then you need a Shastra Jnana, you need Shravana Manana Nididhyasana, all that you need. With all that you will get. So therefore, let us not wrongly understand it as no tapas is required, no karma is required, we have to be only spiritual. Where will spirituality, where will purity happen? Doesn't happen by putting you in a washing machine and then washing you for an hour. It doesn't happen. Chitta Shuddhi happens only through tapas and karma. But only Chitta Shuddhi will happen. Now Vastupa Labdaye. Vastu Siddhi Vicharena. So that Vichara is part 2. So it says, that's why it says, Na Anyehi Devaihi Tapasa Karmanava. Then it says, Jnana Prasadena. But you will get it only through Jnana Prasada. The Prasada of Jnana is what you need, with which you will actually get the Brahma Padartha. Vishuddha Sattvaha. So you get very purified, you get very calm and all that. Tam pashyate nishkalam dhyayamana. One who is purified, nishkalam, and by dhyayamana, one who is able to without distraction. So the tapas and karmana are only providing this. Having provided it, one can become nishkalam, and with that dhyayamana vishuddha sattva sattvaha tataha tu tam pashyate. He will actually end up finally seeing that. He will experience that. That's what it is saying. Now this tapasa karmana, all these, in fact, many of these ideas in the Upanishad, we will actually see it in Gita. I will repeatedly want to quote from Gita. Many of the Upanishad ideas are available in Gita. That's why Gita is so great. Gita has to be parayana. We have to understand the stotras, Gita shlokas and meanings, because they are only bringing the Upanishadic idea in a much simpler way. Look at here. Here the Upanishad said, Nanye devaihi tapasa karmanava. That's what the Upanishad said. Look at Bhagavad Gita chapter 11. After all the Vishwarupa Darshanam, finally what did Krishna finally say? He said, Naham Vedaina tapasa, na danena na chejaya, shakya evam vido drashtum, drashtavanasi mam yatha. Hey Arjuna, what you saw my Divya Darshanam was there. The Vishwarupa Darshan you had, that will not come through Vedaihi, that will not come through tapas, same idea. Na danena, na cha ijjaya, not by doing karma, sacrifice and all that. By doing all that, it is not going to happen. Shakya evam vido drashtum. You can't see the experience that you got, cannot be gotten by any of those. What this mantra says, exactly the same thing this is saying. Then the next Bhagavad Gita goes one step further. It says, Bhaktya tvananyaya shakya aham yevam vido arjuna Jnatum drashtum tatatvena praveshtum cha parantapa. Through bhakti alone. Bhaktya tu ananyaya. Indeed, only through bhakti and no other means. Ananyaya, nanyapanta vidyate. That's what he says. Bhaktya tu na ananya shakyaha aham evam vido arjuna. Jnatum, to know me, to have the experience of me, drashtum cha, tattvena praveshtum, to become part of me. A parantapa, for all these, bhakti alone is required. Through the marga of bhakti, you can go. So that is what in Bhagavad Gita, the same idea is told in a particular way. Now, Shankaracharya has given a beautiful explanation of Jnana Prasadena. Because what is this Jnana Prasada? What is this Jnana? What is this Jnana Prasada? This idea Shankaracharya has very beautifully given in his Bhashya. So let us see the Shankara Bhashyam. Step by step he explains that. So what does he say? Atma avabodhana samartamapi swabhavena sarva praninam jnanam. He says, all of us inherently and naturally, we can have the jnanam, because we can experience the jnanam swabhavena, by our nature, avabodhana samarthamapi, because of our ability to actually experience it. Sarva praninam jnanam. Jnanam is a padartha which is available for sarva prani, not just the human beings. Atma avabodhana samarthamapi. Subhavena sarva praninam jnanam, which means jnanam is inherently with us. Jnanam is our natural state. That is where Shankaracharya starts. Then what is this jnana? Prasada. See, what we don't have, we have to get prasada. So now there is a word jnana prasada. But then Shankaracharya starts by saying, jnanam is part of, we are already jnanam only. Jnanam is our natural state. So-called natural state. Sarva praninam swabhavena jnanam. That's the first sentence he says. Then what does he say? He says, bahya vishaya raga dosha kalushitam aprasannam ashuddham sat na avabodhayati. Why are we not knowing that we are nothing but embodiment of jnanam only? Why is it happening? He says, bahya vishaya, not antar vishaya. Bahya vishaya, we are spending all our effort on the outside world. And moment we start engage with the outside world, what happens? Raga doshas. Raga, dvesha, mada, masarya, bhita, everything will come. Those suparna, let's say the two birds are sitting, one bird started eating and it started seeing all kinds of things. So moment we become a bahya vishaya sanchari, moment we step out and then engage with the outside world, which most of us are doing in an empirical world, we will be stained. Kalushitam. We are stained by what? We are stained by bahya vishaya raga dosha kalushitam. Because of all these likes, dislikes, envy, mada, masarya, raga, dvesha, bhita, everything, it starts dirtying us. Moment it starts dirtying us, it becomes aprasannam. We become aprasannam. We are not that prasanna, gambhira bhava is not that. We are upset, we are tense, we are very, agitated, we are very anxious. So many things start happening to us. Our natural state of that prasanna bhava is not that. Aprasannam, ashuddham, sat. The sat which is actually shuddham becomes ashuddham. Na avabodhayati. So we don't know that we are nothing but the embodiment of jnanam itself. We don't know. That is what is, although it is our natural state, it is being stained. It is being colored and stained and distracted, etc., etc. So we just don't know. That's what Shankaracharya says. In other words, what it says is, Vishuddhameva sat, swabhavataha. By nature, we are Shuddha. Visishtena Shuddham Vishuddham. We are nothing but, 24 karat gold, purity. We are nothing but pure jnanam. Swabhavataha. Sattvameva. But what happens? Ragadina kalushitam bhavati. Because of likes, dislikes, distractions, envy, mada, masarya, etc., etc., it gets stained. Tat apanayanena, by taking out all these distractive elements from us, sarupena avatishtate ityabhiprayah. So if you are able to take out all these distractions, we will stay put with our natural state, which is nothing but jnanam. That is what is coming through. Anyway, this is a commentary of somebody to this particular statement of Shankaracharya, this second line of Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya continues further. He says, Nityam sannihitamapi Atma Tattvam. Atma Tattvam is with us 24/7. Nityam. Forever, permanent. It is not anitya, it is nitya. The jnanam is nityam. Sannihitamapi, although it is all in our domain within our reach and so on, that Atma Tattvam. What happens? He gives two examples. Malavanadamiva Adarsham. Adarsham is a mirror. So he says it is like a mirror which has become dirty. See, if the mirror becomes dirty, you can't see your Pratibimba. If it is so dirty and so dense, nothing will be visible. So we may think there is nothing. Actually, there is some object which you are not able to see because of the mala. Malavanadamiva Adarsham. So he is giving two analogies. It's like a mirror which is all become dirty, so it has completely lost its reflecting capability. So the pure jnana is not reflecting, it is not radiating. Or Vilulitamiva Salilam. It is water which is dirtied and muddled. A pure water gets dirty. So it's like that. So he gives two examples like this. Then he says, Yat tat yada indriya vishaya samsarga janita. Look at here. Indriya vishaya samsarga janita. Indriya vishaya, all these, I see here, I talk and I spend all my world doing these kinds of things. That is the indriya vishaya. Samsarga janita. This punarapi maranam, punarapi jananam, this samsarga. You go through this chakra of birth and death because we got into this game. So indriya vishaya samsarga janita ragadi malakalushya apanayanath. By recognizing this and removing all these mala, removing all these dirt and the kalushya, the kalusha, all these apanayanath adarsha saliladivat. Just like the water can be purified and it restores its purity, or the mirror can be, one can take a nice, maybe a cloth, wipe it. Sometime may not be enough. You may put a coal in, you may even apply some chemical because it's so dirty. Sometimes effort required may be more. But anyway, prasaditam swacham shantam. So that shantam, that stage is actually restored, right? Swacham shantam prasaditam avatishtate tada jnanasya prasadaha syat. So only by removing indriya vishaya samsarga janita ragadi malakalushyam. You look at the kind of objectives he is using. By removing all these which comes through all these, by removing all these, you can, that is really called Jnana Prasada. That is really called Jnana Prasada, and that is his, narration of Jnana Prasada. Again, these ideas that you see here are available in Bhagavad Gita. So beautifully, Krishna, in a very simpler way, he has brought the same idea. So I will take you those shlokas from Gita and show you how these ideas are available in Gita. Look at this. This is, in chapter 3 of Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna asks a question. Atakena prikto yam papam charati purushaha anichanapi varshneya baladiva niyojitaha. Why are people engaging in all kinds of nonsense? They are doing things which they feel later I ought not to have done. Why are people doing it? So that when he said it is all because of kama yesha, krodha yesha, rajoguna samudbhavaha, he talks about the rajas. The rajas is creating all that. There the same idea is coming so beautifully here. You look at here. Dhumena vriyate vannihi yata darsho malena cha yata ulbhena avritaha garbaha tata tena idam avritam. He gives three examples here. Shankaracharya gave two examples. He gives three examples. Dhumena avriyate vannihi. See, the fire is clouded by smoke. That's the first example. Second example, yata adarsho malainacha. What Shankaracharya said, I have put the figure on the right. A dirty mirror with a lot of mala. Then the third, yata ulbena avritaha garbaha. The fetus is in the mother's womb, covered vinmutra medyamatye. Kotitaha, that's what he says in Shiva Aparada Kshamapana Stotra. That the womb, the fetus is in the mother's womb for a long time. No, he gives three. Tena idam avritam. All these are coverage. But Krishna in Bhagavad Gita gives 3 degrees of severity. See, Dhumena avrite, when he is the easiest. All that you have to do is take a hand fan and then blow it, or put some ghee. The smoke will go and flame will come. Easiest. Adarsha Malainacha. Even the next level of effort is cleaning the glass. Maybe with a cloth, sometimes you put some chemical, rub it a little hard, something, the glass will restore its original thing. Little more effort. But this ulbena avritaha garbaha, up to 10 months you can't do. After up to 3 trimesters you can't do anything. You have to wait. You can't do anything. It will take the effort is a natural effort. Slowly the fetus has to come out. Otherwise it will become stillborn. So here also he is saying avritam. We are covered. The rajas is covering. He takes the idea of rajas and explaining this. Avritam. Avritam jnanametena jnanina nitya vairina kamarupena gaunteya dushpurena analena cha. Just like this nitya vairi, this rajas is a nitya vairi, daily enemy. That is covering this jnana. Right? By the 3 examples that are given. That is what he is saying in chapter 3. In chapter 5, he says something again what Shankaracharya said in the Bhashya. See what he is saying here. Ajnanena avritam jnanam tena mukhyanti jantavaha jnanena tu tat ajnanam yesham nashitam atmanah tesham aditya vajnanam prakashayati tat param. Ajnanena avritam jnanam. This ajnana has actually covered the jnana. Tena mukhyanti jantavaha. We are all deluded. We are all misled. We understand our reality to be Y. Actually, it is X. Because it is all covered and then it is all, we are deluded. That's what the first line says. Jnanena tu, but once when the jnana is, jnana spurana happens, tat ajnanam yesham nashitam atmanah. If the jnana spuranam happens, then the ajnana will go. It will be destroyed. Tesham aditya vajnanam prakashayati tatparam. Just like, I put a photo on the left. Think of a very dense cloud formation. In a dense cloud formation, sun is not there. But then, if the sun is able to melt all that, clouds, convert them into rain, whatever they all precipitate, then the sun will shine royally. So what we have is dense clouds in us. And the density of the clouds is a function of the degree of our evolution. And the effort required to do that is quite high. And once, if we are able to get that effort, that is Jnana Prasada. That is exactly Jnana Prasada that this Upanishad is talking about. So basically what happens, think of this cloud and the sun example. If the clouds are very thin, you will see the sun. Because suddenly the clouds move and the sun shines. That's what happens when some days when there isn't much rain. It's only a cloudy day. Then we see the sun because the clouds are very thin. But if the clouds are extremely thick, it takes enormous effort. In the same way, our ajnana, the thickness of our ajnana is a function of the effort that we require to thin it down. Once we peel that layer, the jnana will. So jnana is not a padartha that we have to get going somewhere. It is not, if you don't have a battery with you, if you don't have a pen with you, you have to go and buy it because that is not with you. Whereas what you already have, you don't have to go and buy. You have to only locate it. You have to recognize it. So that's what Shankaracharya says, that jnana is praninam swabhava. We are nothing but bundle of jnana. But this bundle of jnana is covered by another bundle of tamas, another bundle of ignorance. And if that ignorance, how do we remove that ignorance? Jnana prasadena. That is the jnana prasada. Once that is removed, we will be able to see the ultimate Brahman. So that is what this mantra is saying. So with this, we will close it for the day. and continue this mantra. We can little bit, we can more discuss, which we'll do in the next class, and then continue. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Shubharatri.